Good evening.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm
I'm
well.
good.
Looking beautiful.
Good. Good. Oh, thank you. And you as well. You as well. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna be the main attraction. So I guess you could set up for your if you have a PowerPoint and it's gonna be
Mhm.
live streamed to YouTube. So you just tell me when you're ready. I need you to send in the chat um your introduction so I can introduce you correctly.
Okay. And you see the PowerPoint?
I do. Yes, I do.
Oh, wait a minute. How's your day going?
I'm sorry?
I said, how's your day going? Can you hear
It's
me?
good. It's good. Quiet. Yeah, I can hear you. Um, I am stuck. Let's see. Why am I stuck? Hmm. Why am I stuck? I'm having weirdo moments on online. I don't know what's going on. Okay, me? Can you hear me,
I can hear you now.
Brenda?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can. I am having weird moments. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I just need your. Did you send your
Typing it now.
bio, your short bio?
Yeah, I'm typing it now.
Okay.
Where do you live?
I live on Long Island,
Oh,
New
in Long
York.
Island. Okay, in New York. I live in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, in Bethlehem.
Okay, not too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too far from you. Yeah. Did you send it?
Yes, this is something short.
I
Yeah, I
don't
sent
see it
it.
yet. Send it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have it. No, it's not in my chat. It's not on the chat on the. Oh, let's see. No, I don't have it. It's not coming up. All right. Let me. We got to get started. So let me find something.
Let me see. Because it's sitting right there.
Did you send it? Did you
Yeah.
push the button?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not coming up.
Yeah, I see you said Edna. I'm gonna send it again. I'm gonna type it. And I'm gonna copy and paste it and send it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And go again.
Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, we can get started because we're streaming live anyway. So let's get started. All right. Okay, so welcome everyone to the fourth part of the Money Mastery Education series. I'm your host, Ed White, and I'm so glad you're with me today. I'm your author, your entrepreneur, your real estate professional, and your life purpose coach. Today, we're going to continue the strong foundation to build upon as we move forward in this money mastery education. Now, tonight's presenter is none other than Brenda Robinson, who is a biblical financial consultant. After working as a controller for a dealership for 25 years, she realized she needed to help people learn about their credit. She completed some courses with this one organization who taught biblical principles around money. Today, our presenter is Brenda Robinson. Thank you so much for being here today. And
Well,
you can
thank
take
you.
it away.
Thank you for inviting me. This is definitely a blessing because we don't know a lot of things and we don't ask a lot of questions. We just assume we don't need certain things when we definitely need to learn about money. That's a major thing. So tonight I'm going to talk about will and trust, preparing a financial healthcare power of attorney, and how to talk to your family on how to decide different things. We are preparing a will and living trust is major in this world. I get so many people that things happen and then they don't know where anything is. They are lost. You know, you can't even mourn the death of somebody because you're looking for things. You don't know where this is, don't know where that is. So the Bible talks about planning. So this is one of the things that we need to do. We need to plan not only our death, because we know we're going to die. So these are the things that we need to put in place. When you have little children, you assume that maybe your mom or your dad will take, the grandparents will take the children. But if you don't have that in place, then that doesn't have to mean that that person will get that child. So you need to have all those things in place, and we don't have it in place. So let's begin. The first thing you want to do, you want to name an executor. You want to appoint an executor or a personal representative. Upon your death, executor or a personal representative is the person that you know that's responsible to carry out the directions of your will. Your executor will collect the assets and the estates that you have made to execute everything that goes on. So this is what you want to do. And he'll take the responsibilities to take care of your funeral and everything and all your burial arrangements. So how do you choose an executor? The person that's close to you doesn't mean you have to be an executor. The person that you know is responsible. That's who you want to choose, somebody that's very responsible. What is a financial power? A financial power attorney allows you to appoint someone you trust to make decisions for you in your, regardless to your assets and to your events. When you're unable to do so, that person will do. Doesn't mean that you have to be dead. Doesn't mean that when you come to a place that you can't make decisions, they will make decisions for you. A lot of people don't know that this is necessary to have, because sometimes things happen. Like when the pandemic was here, a lot of people were unable to do things, but they had nobody financially a power of attorney. So who was paying their bills? Who was doing these certain things when things were happening? Nobody. So if you came out of the pandemic, then your bills were not being paid. So now you're in a worse situation than you were before when you were sick, but a lot of people don't even know that you need that to be in place. And that comes with the healthcare powers. There is a rule that a lot of people don't know. Just because you married, just because you have a mom or a dad, they are not legally bound to make decisions for you. That's why most of the time when you go to the doctor, they ask you, do you have a will? Because they want to know if something should happen to you, what should happen? So when you go to the hospital and you don't have a will, you know what happens? They have a law that's called the 2PC. And what happens, two physicians will make decisions on your behalf. So if your husband say, I want my wife to live, they said, does she have a will? And he say, no, he don't have a will. Then the two physicians can make decisions because there are the powers, because she didn't or he didn't have a power to give to somebody to make decisions for him. So this document gives the person your name of the power to make healthcare decisions for you if you cannot make these decisions for yourself. So you want a dependable person that will make the right decisions that you have told them, you know, what you want. So if you have this healthcare power attorney in place, nobody can stop what your will was. So as they have an example. So if there's a threatening term or decisions that needs to be made, then you have those decisions written down for you. A living trust. When choosing a person to be a trustee of your living trust, you need to answer one question. Who could step into my place, and carry out all of my wishes? Who would that person be? Those are the things you need to ask yourself. It is very vital, important to choose someone that you have full faith and confidence in. You should feel at ease that he or she will be able to carry out the terms of your trust to maintain and distribute the trust estate has been appropriate. Now, determine the property you want to be transferred to a trust. You want a list of property below so that it can include your trust schedule documents at all times. And you want to complete you want to complete that form to the best of your knowledge of what you have. You want to put that in a trust for whatever your tangible items are. And I put these biblical scriptures here. And here, Proverbs 13:22, it says an inheritance should be provided. So a lot of people don't even know that in the Bible has over 2,000 scriptures about money. So he wanted us to know about money and what to do. Inheritance should be distributed too quickly, not to be distributed too quickly. So you need to realize what you're doing and who you're leaving your things to. And a counsel produces wise decisions. And that's in Proverbs 12:15. So I wanted to talk about a lot of questions that's always asked about a will. And the questions that I always get is, where should I keep my will? You need to keep your will in the same place. You need to keep your important papers. Be sure to choose a safe place where someone else can find the will after your death. Someone you can trust should always know and always have an existing place where it is located. Some people keep their wills in a safe deposit box. Keep in mind that a will contains provisions which must be known immediately upon your death that's in a safe deposit box. Now, with the will, it can be updated at all times. And a lot of people say, well, what do I put in my will? Because I don't have anything. Everybody has something. You need to have your bank account numbers in there. You even need to know where certain documents are. You put all of that in your will. You should name, and people ask, should I name my small children as beneficiaries in my will? There's no restrictions on leaving property to a minor beneficiary. Persons under the age of 18, it will be put in a probate. You always want your things to be put in probate, which would appoint a guardian to oversee the documents or the possessions that you have put. So that guardian would have to have, you would have to trust that guardian naturally to oversee your children, but you have to stipulate how you want things to be distributed so that person could not abuse what you left for your child. So you would have to stipulate that. One reason of having a living trust is that you can provide an inheritance to your children or to whomever you want to manage it. That is the benefit of having a trust. Often children are not really ready to manage things until they turn 18. And then even when they turn 18, you can distribute that inheritance how you want it to be distributed. You can do it over 10 years, over every 5 years, or you don't have to give them all of the inheritance at one time. So over the time, say a child, and over the time you want to distribute this money, most people will do like every 10 years or every 5 years. If they turn 18, I give them some. When they turn 25, I give them some. When they turn 30, they can have it all. And you can do that in your will. But if you don't have it planned and written out, then that child would get everything and spend it all if they don't have the right, proper understanding about money. So it's another question that's always asked is that, will others inherit my debt after I die? Generally speaking, no. No one inherits debt. When you're dead, your debt is dead. No one can inherit an unsecured debt after you die unless you are a co-signer. Now, if you're a co-signer, then yes, but nobody inherits debts. A lot of people may, if you're married, someone may say, John owed me such and such a bank, and I want you to pay because you're married, but you do not have to pay that debt. So when you're dead, your debt is dead. However, it doesn't mean that the debt will not get paid. One of the duties of an executive of a personal representative is determined to what debt you have. If you have an executor that uses proceeds of your estate, then they will require some of your debt to be paid, but it would have to be in that will what debt that needs to be paid. Like if it's a cash asset of a home, then that would have to be paid because that's a debt that somebody is living in that home. So that would have to be paid. The only exception is a secured debt. And like I said, that would be a home, that would be a loan, that would be a car loan. That's a secured debt. An unsecured debt would be credit cards. It does not have to be paid. So your beneficiary would accrue those assets to be paying. Can I be the trustee of my trust? That's sometimes asked. And you can be the trustee during your lifetime, since all trustees' assets are held in the same name of the trustee. This means that you can continue to fully control all of your assets as long as you live and you're not incapable of doing your business. How does a living trust work? Like a corporation. A trust is regarded in law as something separated from the people who created it. Therefore, a trust can hold property. A trust can be sued, and you can sue. Enter the contracts of the conduct and the conduct of the business in its own name. The assets and liabilities of trust are separate from the assets of liability of a beneficiary. A trust can obtain its own taxpayer identification number and file as own as a tax return. Whenever you transfer a trust, a living trust, those assets no longer belong to you, even though they may be under your control if you are a trustee. It is shifting assets to a new owner, but you're still the owner. You're just shifting the assets because you're the living trust to avoid probate and to avoid some kind of creditor claims. That's why a lot of people put trust with their assets so they can avoid doing certain things. Do you have any questions, anyone? So let's talk about preparing the last will and the
nothing in the chat so far. Nope.
Okay. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. Preparing the financial health care power of attorney. After you start preparing the health care power of attorney, you want to always talk with your family and know how to decide and how to handle your financial and your medical affairs, because you don't want to put somebody down in your trust that's not willing to do what is asked to be done, correct? You don't want to assume that somebody wants that responsibility that you're asking them to, especially if you have children. You don't want to push that on to somebody if that's not what they really want to do. And with a living trust, when you choose a person for that trustee of your living trust, you need to answer those questions and ask them the question. You need to sit down with them and talk to them about, especially when you have children involved. You want to sit down and talk to them about, what if and can you? And this is something that you really and truly want to do for my children if something should happen to me. Depending on the state that you reside in, each healthcare and power attorney document is something different. So whatever state or city that you live in, you need to check with the health board to see what are the procedures to have and what can you put in your health attorney, your power attorney for your health. And let's talk about, we talked about the financial power, and I just want to appoint someone you trust, right? Who do you trust that that will take care of your business like you take care of your business? And then we have I like going over the healthcare power attorney because a lot of people don't even know that they need a healthcare power attorney. I don't know if you know that. Have you ever been to the doctor lately, Ms. White?
Yes, I have.
And have they ever asked you, do you have a will?
Yes.
That's what they do. And a lot of people will say no. Most people I know don't have a will. And it's very important that you have a will because, like I said, people don't even know the doctors can make decisions for you. And it may not be the decisions that you want.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're living and you want all these things in place. I have a testimony about, well, it's a sad testimony, but someone I know had gotten sick and they went to the doctor and the doctor said this and the husband said that, and whatever the doctor said, that's what happened. They didn't have a voice in it, and it's too late to find out. And then people having a will, not having a will and having just really, they think they have nothing, but they do have something. And then when it's time, the person can't even access these things because there was no will put in place for them. Over the pandemic, I talk about that a lot, is a lot of people died and there was nothing done because they couldn't get in people's houses because nobody had a power of attorney to go into their house. There was nothing they could do without that will. So it's very important that we prepare for will always. You need to have it executed. You need to prepare it. And the last will, you have to establish a last will in your testament. It's just important for us to have that. And we all have something. And that's the first thing people will say, I don't have nothing. So if you grown and don't have nothing, you need to start trying to get something. Because it's not right for you not to have a will and leave that burden on someone else. And that's what we do most of the time. We leave that burden on someone else. You need an insurance. You need a will to execute where you want your things to go and what to do. Did any questions come through?
Yes, can you talk about insurance along with wills? Is that something that needs to be provided as well?
Yes, it does. All your bank accounts need to be in your will, all your insurance policies, you need the numbers of your insurance policy, everything I even have my car keys, where my keys are. You want to know wherever you could have places where you put everything in place, even from your clothes. What do you want to do with your clothes? Everything that you have, you can put in your will. Like everything. Okay. You want to let them know where your titles are to your car. You want everything to be executed on that paper, binded on that paper. Your jewelry. If you have furs, you want to put that in your will. You want to put everything in there. Because now if I don't know if something happened and my children don't know what kind of, how do they know what kind of insurance I have if I don't put it in there? How do they even know what bank I bank with if I don't have it in my will? Right? And with a financial, like I said, it happened and it should have awakened us about the fact that with the pandemic, and if I was in the hospital and I didn't have a financial piece to let my children know how to pay my bills, when I got out the hospital, I wouldn't even have any place to live because my bills were not being paid. And the bank is not going to let anybody just go and use your account. So all those things need to be put in place. Those are some things that we talk about with your debt. A lot of people think that if I have a will, then if I had you as my executor of my will, then you're responsible for my debt. You're not. You're not responsible for no unsecured debt. But if I had a home, then you're not responsible for that home, but you're responsible to sell it now. You can sell it. But if I had nobody executed about the home, then the state would get the home. And that's what happens. You don't even want to imagine how much money goes back to the state. My mom passed away and she had insurance, but my dad passed away first, but she had changed her insurance policy. They said except for one, which we couldn't understand that because they all was at the one place, one insurance company, Prudential. And they was like, oh, she didn't change that one. That didn't even make sense. But they made us go to court to get that money because she didn't have a will. So we had to go to probate court. We had to pay for that. Then we had to go to court, me and my sister. Then if my nieces would have wanted to come and step in and sign, they could have. So it could have been a long drawn out thing because she didn't have a will. And they knew that my father had passed because his insurance policy was with them. But they made us go through that because she did not have a will. So if we wasn't knowledgeable how to go along with it, they just would have kept the money. And that's what insurance people do. They just keep it. Hey, Sophia. So they will keep the money if you don't have a will. And it's very important.
Mm-hmm. I have two questions from off YouTube. Does a will have to be notarized?
It does.
And when should I update my will?
Every time you change something in your life. Every time you change something in your life, even when and that's the thing too, whenever you change something in your life, you should update your will. And it does need to be notarized. Some states, they have, I didn't know this, but some states would like for you to bring it to the court executor, and some states don't. You would have to find out if your state is one of those states that wants you to have it on file. But if you have a will, I have a program that has a will that you can update it whenever you want to update it. It's a lifetime that you can go in. It's online. You would update it, and then it comes in a binder, and you just get it notarized and you keep it. And anytime you want to update it, you update it. But if you do it through a lawyer, then he would charge you every time you came back. And then they do have some that's online that you can do, but every time you go to update it, they would charge you again to update it. but you should update it every time you change something in your life.
Here's a question. I'm on Social Security. Do I have to have a will?
You sure do. Everybody should have a will. Everybody. If it's just to notify what you want to be done. You make decisions now for yourself. Why would you want somebody to make decisions for you when you die? You should want everything. That would be, I don't know if I've had, my mom and my dad has passed away. So if they had set things up for me, then I wouldn't have had to been running around. Not that it was a lie, but suppose if somebody you love passed away and all you did was take the paper to, what do you call it? To the funeral home, and that's all you had to do. You didn't have to look for this, you didn't have to look for that. You didn't have to pay for the funeral, although they had insurance, but everything was laid out for you. And a lot of people lay things out now today. They have their where I'm going to be buried at. They have what funeral home I want. They have the clothing I want to wear. Everything is just laid out. And now all I have to do is just mourn about the death of my loved one. And most of the time, people leave us in worry situation. So just because you're on Social Security, you should have a will. Yes.
A question, where do I find estate planning checklist?
They have them online. I will send a link inside your group. So if they're inside your group, I will send that link to for a checklist. But they do have it on Google. They do have a Google. They do have a Google. And a lot of people don't like that financial power because it just gives that other person, they think, a lot of power of your finances, but that's only if something should happen to you. So if you made me financial power over you, Miss White, I can't do anything unless you inconceivate that you can't do it. I can't come take over anything for you. So a lot of times people don't do things because they think I'm giving them the power over me, but that does not mean that. I just recently had to get a will and trust over my sister, but I don't have the power to tell her what to do. I just help her to make decisions of what should be done. And sometimes you need that, especially when you get a little old. She's like 6 years older than me. So I saw that people were just taking advantage of her or not telling her what to do the right way because she lives in a senior building. So if I said something to help her, their thing was, we can't talk to you because like I have to tell her, but I need to help her. So I had to go get a will. So now it's like, now you can talk to me because they wouldn't talk to me to help her. So sometimes that's a good time to have a will because you want to help somebody.
Okay. Question, is a lawyer necessary to draw a will or a trust?
No, it's not. I'm not a lawyer, and I have a program that does a will and trust. You don't have to be a lawyer to do a will and trust.
Yeah, I think the question was more like, do I need one? No,
you don't. You don't need one.
Okay.
Now, like I said, they have online programs. You just have to know what to do. And some programs are simple. Mine is very simple. It's basic. It tells step by step, page by page. And it'll let you know how to answer questions. And with the lawyer, he does the same thing. He just asks you questions, how to do, or what, because he knows nothing about you. But there are some programs that will, just step by step, it'll let you know. And my program is and it's online and it's not pushy. You can do it when you get ready to do it.
Okay.
and complete it.
If I have a living trust, do I still need a will?
Yes, it should, everything should be, yeah, you need your living trust is you're living, and I'm giving somebody the trustee of my living things, that because I'm alive. And a will is for in case or when I die, this is what I want my will to be done. Okay. So it's two different pieces, like it's the living trust, and then you have the financial, because you can have a will but don't have a financial piece about the will.
Okay.
And you can have a will and don't have a medical part. So it's like all different pieces to it.
That will be on that form that you said you're going to give us, that checklist?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's another question. They said, our trust, is the same person asked about the Social Security. Are trust assets protected from the cost of long-term care?
Yes. And that is why you have a living trust to put in about the long term of your living. Okay. So whatever you put in that living trust, it would be because you're alive, and it will be in that trust for your long term.
Okay. I don't see any other questions coming through. They said thank you. They said thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. I hope this is helping someone. A lot of people lose their property to some, like a family property. I've known people that had their family had property, and because they had no trust, they had no will, and they had to go through a court probate to get it. And then when by the time it was time for them to get it, they owed all this money in taxes, and they didn't have the money to pay the taxes. So they lost the house. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot to it that we don't know, but we need a will and trust. And a healthcare power. It's very important to have a healthcare power, because you don't want doctors to make decisions for you. Mm-hmm. You want to put down what you want to be done for your health, I would think. Wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. No more questions on YouTube.
No more questions?
None on here. They're just saying thank you.
Awesome. And like I always tell people, always remember that biblically, all of this is in the Bible. All of it is in the Bible. So it must meant something way back then that we're just not doing and preparing ourselves. And we should always prepare ourselves.
Absolutely so. Very good. Yes, absolutely. All right. How can the audience contact you if you can? Or is it? Oh, it's on the bottom of here. Okay, I see it. All right, I see it.
Yeah. So, like I said, I do have a program that you can do a will. You can do all 4 parts of it. You can do the financial power, the health power, the living trust, and the will. And it's $450. And you can go back and change it whenever you want. Whenever you want to change it, it'll come in a binder. All you have to do is have it notarized, and it's yours forever. And whenever you want to go in, you'll have a portal that you'll just go right in, fill it out, go and change, call us and say, I made a change. I got a new insurance policy. I need to do an update, whatever. And we send another one right back out to you.
Good. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and I just want to thank you for putting this together. You've been having an amazing month. Financial literacy is the month of April. So this is really amazing. to put this together. I appreciate
Great.
that. Very
No
good.
problem.
And thank you,
We're all
ladies, for
about
joining us.
educating everyone. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you all everywhere on the audience of the live stream, YouTube. Thank you for being anywhere else you're here today with us. So thank you so much. Tomorrow is going to be, I think, 13th, right? Right, yeah. I'm all over the place, but it's going to be the 13th, and it's going to be Earn and Spend Money with Catherine Travers of Chase Bank. And she's going to be sharing with us about earning and about spending. So I'm excited about that part. Thank you all for being here. And if you have any further questions, look on the screen. You'll see that you can contact Brenda Robinson at any time. All right? And we want to thank you all, and we're going to say goodbye for now.